Okay, that's all the time I've got. I gotta get back to playing Animal Crossing New—
Wait a minute. There's been a bit of a mix-up.
What's wrong with you?
You're not the right Bowser.
I don't know why people say that I look like Bowser.
Sorry, but I'm the right Bowser for this presentation.
Well guys, Smash Ultimate has been out for over half a year now, and between pre-release changes, post-release patches, better access to data, and overall meta development, I think I'm well overdue to go back and cover one of the subjects of my earlier analysis vids. And I'd say out of all of them, Bowser has differed the most from what we thought he was going to be like. So, reminder to watch my terminology video if you were confused by some of the competitive jargon in this review, and without further ado, let's cover the King Koopa once more. Bowser was first introduced in 1985 as the big baddie of the original Super Mario Bros. Game for the Famicom and NES. Back then he was a little more than a dragon guarding the princess, but as the Mario series progressed, we got to see more and more glimpses of character from the big guy, now being characterized as a loving father and a bit of a hopeless romantic. That evolution is pretty apparent in Smash 2. Gone are the days of weird roller skate Bowser hobbling across the stage. Now Bowser is one of the faster characters in the game and arguably the fastest Super Heavy in the entire game. Faster on the ground than Inkling, faster in the air than Samus. Once Bowser gets going, he really takes off. All that weight means he can't change direction in the air very well though, so plan your jumps accordingly. Speaking of his weight, Bowser has the highest weight value of any playable character in Smash history at a massive 135. To put that into perspective, he is to Charizard what Charizard is to Luigi. Because of this, living past 200% is not uncommon for Bowser, and it will take some of the strongest moves in the game to take your stock below 100%. Can't have all that weight without the volume to support it unfortunately, and that is Bowser's biggest downfall. Because Bowser has some of the worst techs and rolls and dodges in the game, you'll often find yourself guessing correctly on the defensive, only to get hit anyways because you simply cannot get out of the way. And to call Bowser combo food is an understatement. He is a combo buffet. Now, true, this is a problem for most big body heavies, and at least Bowser has the weight to back it up, so even if you get comboed past 100, you still have plenty of stock left to play. But there is more to Bowser's character traits than just speed, size, and weight. He also has his Tough Guy armor. Tough Guy is what Smash calls Bowser's passive light armor, that will keep him from flinching from weak moves for a good while. It allows you to take 19 points of knockback before you start flinching, but knockback changes a lot depending on if you are hit in the air, your percent, your opponent's percent, etc. So I recommend either labbing what moves you can take at what percent in the training room, or using Ruben's ultimate calculator, which I will link below. But here are some notable examples of what Tough Guy can handle. Mega Man pellets past 300%, Dancing Blade last downward hit until about 270%, Fox Rapid Jab until the mid 200s, Ness PK Fire until around 60%, make sure it's the grounded version, and even Magic Burst gets armored past 300%. For such a fat and heavy piece of combo food like Bowser, having this trait can be a real godsend in the early percents, especially considering no other big body gets this privilege. But you can't beat your opponent by just running around. We aren't doing a Sonic analysis here. Let's get into his actual attacks and see some damage. We start with Bowser's jab, the 1-2 cross. Now, let's be honest, frame 7 is pretty slow for a jab, but what it lacks in sheer speed it makes up for in other areas. The intangibility on Bowser's fists, which by the way will be showing up a lot in his moveset, almost make this a sword attack of sorts. The end lag is decent too, allowing jab 1 to be mixed up into other attacks and jab 2 to essentially be safe when spaced on shield. When you do land a full jab, the launch angle is great for tech chases and even vicious jab lock setups if you can get there quick enough. It can even kill outright near the ledge at higher percents. As we will see later, Bowser doesn't have a lot of safe moves, so this one should be cherished for all it's worth. But if 2 smaller punches aren't enough, how about one big one? Bowser's F-tilt has the opponent kiss the ring for 13% base damage and a ton of knockback. You get the same arm intangibility as jab, but this time you also get some weak damage-based armor a few frames before the hitbox comes out. This is another trait shared with a lot of Bowser's grounded attacks, and it lets you ignore things like jabs or multi-hits on your way to smack the enemy. But the true utility of this move comes from angling it. Yeah, you can angle it up to catch the jump in, but you really want to be angling it down at ledge. It's active long enough that combined with those disjointed hands and light armor, Bowser can 2-frame pretty much everyone with a downward F-tilt and kill them at absurd percents. Get the timing down for this move and get rewarded. It makes you wish down tilt was half as good. This move used to kill so early in Smash 4, but now it's weak, limp, and useless. There isn't really a reason to use this move over F-tilt. It isn't any faster, it's much weaker, way less safe, and yeah, it can 2-frame too, but not as well. Even if you do manage to hit it, a lot of the times they'll slip out and not get hit with the second swing anyway. Sure, it kills eventually, but why fish for down tilt kills at 150 when you can fish for F-tilt kills at 100? Just don't bother with this move, it's probably Bowser's worst. Luckily, up tilt is way better. The first of Bowser's many claw swipes, Bowser swings his arm in a full 180-degree arc above his head. Now it's pretty slow for a tilt, but the huge amount of area it covers combined with those all-important intangible hands make it incredible for anti-airing, catching rolls and ledge options, and pressuring platforms. The back hit is even a decent little combo starter. This move may seem niche at first, but used wisely it really comes in handy. But enough of this killing at 120 crap, this is Bowser. We need to kill at 40, damn it. Let's talk about his F smash. The dropkick of doom is one of those character-defining smash attacks like Ganon F smash or Olimar up smash, dealing a massive 20 to 23% on the early hit, and a quote, weaker hit, dealing a downright pitiful 14 to 17%. This is one of the strongest smash attacks in the game. Yes, it's slow and laggy. God forbid a move that kills at 40% have a bit of risk, but it also has a few properties to help you land it. It has a much stronger startup armor than its tilts and has invincible feet this time around, not intangible. This means it will actually eat things like projectiles on its way. Basically, when it starts moving, the only thing the opponent can do is block it or get out of the way. Obviously it's really slow and punishable, but Bowser has ways of putting the enemy in F-smash situations. Don't be too afraid to throw this one out every once in a while as a mix-up. If it lands, you either won the set or feel like you did. Shame his up smash is so much weaker. I mean, it kills at 70% instead of 40. Can we get a buff, please? Sarcasm aside, this move is awesome. It actually has usable startup, and the armor combined with the invincible shell make this the most overkill anti-air option in the game. The sweet spot on the spikes is what you want to hit with, but the sour spot isn't exactly weak, and Bowser jumps high enough to reach most platforms with ease. It even has a nifty little landing hitbox to make it a little safer on whiff and cover spot dodges. Use this when up tilt just isn't enough. And finally, we have Bowser's down smash, or as I like to call it, Wolf's down smash. Yep, it's a good old-fashioned claw swipe, and what a surprise, it's one of the strongest down smashes in the game. Who would have thought? Besides the obvious and typical down smash uses of covering rolls and ledge options, you can also use that quick startup armor to eat through whatever recovery move your opponent uses and KO them at stupid percents. It's also the best attack to use damage-wise out of a jab block due to its relatively fast startup. Like the rest of Bowser's smashes, it's brutal in both looks and power. Oh yeah, and I guess we have to cover dash attack. Look, it does decent damage and covers landings and closes gaps and all that good stuff dash attacks are supposed to do, but it just doesn't do anything else. It'll never kill, and the vertical launch angle is a love or hate situation depending on the matchup. I would honestly recommend you just use dash boost F-tilt. It's much stronger, much safer, and comes out just as fast. Luckily, Bowser's grab game has a lot more luster to it. Smash 4 players have PTSD about Bowser's grab range, and while it's been toned down a bit for Ultimate, Bowser still has great grabs. Yeah, they're a little slow, but for a super heavy it could be a lot worse. Bowser isn't the best at handling shield pressure, so having a standing grab with that much reach really helps you out. And of course his other grabs have even better range. Which is good because Bowser has some pretty impressive throws across the board. We will start with forward and back throw because they're basically identical to each other in all ways except direction. They both do really good damage and they both can kill at decent percents. Pretty simple, but not much to complain about either. Most characters would love to have kill throws in two different directions. Most characters would also kill to have a throw that does 14% base damage. The down throw belly flop never kills, but it does send decently far and does the most damage of all of Bowser's normal throws. Strictly use it for racking up damage while keeping your kill throws fresh and mid percent. Because at low percent, you'll want to rack up even more with up throw. Obviously, this throw isn't the be-all end-all it was in Smash 4, but it still has a bit of that combo energy left. It's tricky, and you have to buffer a double jump, but at extremely low percents, you can hit all sorts of things like up throw into up B, up air, forward air, or even a few hits of nair. The throw itself also does above average damage, so even if you mess up the conversion, it's not too bad. But I think we should take some time to analyze those aerials a little deeper, because let me tell you, they're way better than you'd expect. Okay, we're starting off with neutral air, as you do, and that means we're starting off strong. First, with 4 hits dealing 6% each, this is officially the highest damaging neutral air in the game. Now granted, hitting all 4 hits can be tricky, but when you do, it is devastating. Besides, even if you don't land all the hits, most neutral airs would be happy doing half the damage this one does. Because of the decent landing lag relative to the rest of Bowser's aerials, it's also a decent landing option. But where this move really excels is as a combo starter. It may not look like one, but if you land on an opponent with the right hit of Nair, it will pop them up for almost all of Bowser's other aerials, including a devastating back air confirm. Definitely one of Bowser's better aerials. But not his best aerial. Yeah, that one is going to forward air. This one is another claw swipe like up tilt, and it shares the same incredible hitbox arc too. Depending on how close to Bowser the enemy is when you land it, it will do 11, 12, or 13%, but it will always kill, so don't worry too much about spacing. It also has the least landing lag of all of Bowser's aerials, meaning it's the safest on shield, especially on the sweet spot, and quick enough to even confirm into other moves if you hit it low enough to the ground. The best part about this attack, however, is that it auto cancels on short hop, so you can pretend like you're Sheik, only you're doing 3 times the damage. This move is just amazing. It's quick enough, it's strong, it has a great hitbox, it confirms from and into other attacks, and it's amazing for edge guards. All those annoying small characters giving your Bowser trouble, just swat them out of the sky. It makes up air seem pretty boring in comparison. Now this headbutt is certainly strong enough and does the typical huge Bowser damage, but unfortunately with the grab kill confirm gone, its use has been relegated to just adding on more damage from an up throw or a nair. It KOs very well, and the intangibility on the head makes sure you can hit it without trading every time, but you'll often be hard pressed to find an opening to actually land it at kill percents due to how committal it is. Most of the time you're better off catching a landing from the ground instead. But if you want to hit the enemy with a strong air to air, then just use back air. This terrifying dropkick is one of the strongest back airs in the entire game in both damage and kill power, and has no business being as fast as it is. The catch, however, is that the hitbox is pretty mediocre, and the landing lag is substantial. Because of this, and the fact it also auto-cancels on short hop, the way to use this move is not by landing on somebody with it, but rather intercepting them in the air with a rising back air. It's so fast and powerful, they won't even see it coming. And let's not forget it combos out of that big damage neutral air. It's essentially a fast aerial smash attack. Use it, but use it properly. And finally, the Shell Shock down air. Worshipped by Elite Smash Bowsers everywhere, this is one of his few aggressive landing options. The small rise Bowser does before falling does trick up a lot of opponents trying to juggle you, but as of patch 4.0, you cannot use it out of hitstun to slowly fall with it and mix up your timing. So yes, if you use it recklessly, you will take a huge hit, especially with its appalling landing lag, but the splash hitbox can help dissuade any would-be punishes. It also helps that it's extremely powerful, having an absolutely disrespectful spike hitbox at the start and a devastating outwards hit while falling. Because of how much vertical area it covers, it is also a popular tool for dealing with ledge options. Like most of Bowser's moves, if used haphazardly, it's awful, but used wisely, it's actually quite powerful. So it seems like the theme for Bowser's moveset so far is that most of his attacks serve their respective purposes well, but can really get you killed if you aren't smart about it. Let's see if that theme carries over into his specials. Let's start with the first attack Bowser ever used, his Fire Breath. With this you can blast a stream of fire in front of Bowser, with the stream getting smaller the longer you use it. This special is extremely laggy in both startup and end lag, so you better be in a good spot once you start it or you'll be getting hit hard. In spite of that, it has a good enough range to score some easy damage at the start of the match or halt opponents trying to run in on you. And if you manage to land it up close, expect to do anywhere from 25 to 40 damage easy. This attack does so much damage, not even a shield is enough to stop it. You can angle it too, which means you can angle it up to catch jump-ins, or, in a much more effective use, angle it down off ledge to catch recoveries. Used this way, Fire Breath can basically mean free damage in a lot of matchups, and can really throw off your opponent's timing. And while the farthest hits of Fire Breath don't actually make the opponent flinch, this can still be useful for gimping recoveries or getting some extra damage after a shield break before going in for the kill. You'll be using this attack a lot, just make sure you're set up for it first. Moving on to something a bit quicker, we have Up B, the Whirling Fortress. With a startup of only 6 frames, this is one of Bowser's fastest attacks full stop, and since you don't have to go through the shield drop animation to do it, it's also his best out of shield option, covering cross-ups and even moving back and forth to chase down enemies trying to space on you. The grounded version stays out for a while, which obviously means it's punishable, but it also means it covers roll, spot dodges, ledge options, etc. For some reason they programmed the last hit of up B to ignore weight completely, giving weird results like killing Charizard before Pichu, but it still has decent kill power for a move that doesn't really need to kill to be good. As a recovery move, it is serviceable. It lacks a bit in vertical range, but it soars through the air horizontally, going even further if you mash the B button rhythmically. The problem is the defensive hitbox could be a lot better, and leads to Bowser sometimes getting edgeguarded basically until he dies. You'll have to recover high to mix things up sometimes, but get that red and its horrible landing lag will put you right back where you started. But if you hit the aerial up B, you'll do some serious damage, which again makes it a tempting option out of up throw. And if I had to take a shot every time someone buffered an air dodge to their death after getting caught in the multi-hits, I wouldn't be here to record this voiceover. This move embodies the Bowser ethos of really good if it works, really punishable otherwise, but its speed alone makes it one of its best moves. Speaking of really good when it works, down B is next, the mighty Bowser Bomb. If you absolutely, positively need to make the comeback happen, or if you just want to style on someone, use this move as a mix-up to pop their shield and kill them at 30. You can also use it to snap ledge a bit safer from high up, which synergizes well with the new spike hitbox it has at the beginning. And while good in theory, this spike part of the move just makes you wish it didn't exist so it would be a more consistent kill option. It does have a decently fast scoop hitbox when used from the ground, and with the silly damage the other hits do, it is the optimal punish in the right circumstance. As a landing option though, it's outclassed by downer in almost every way, but nothing makes a Bowser player salivate quite like a shield break. But why break someone's shield when you can just grab right through it and kill anyway? Yes, last up is the Flying Slam, another top tier move for Bowser. Coming out in just 6 frames, this grab is tied with the fastest normal grabs in the game, only it does at least 18% base damage. I say at least because the further you fall with it, the more damage it does. I've tried maxing this out on non-legal stages, and the most damage I could do was a bit over 23% base. This is why, despite popular belief, you don't really want to land on a top platform with this attack. If DI'd properly, the opponent will almost always die off the side, so ideally you want to land as close to the ledge as possible from as high as possible. It's a great move for sure, but there are some flies in the ointment. For starters, it's the laggiest grab in the game. It may come out fast, but with almost a second of lag, it's really easy to punish. And while Bowser can fly off the stage and go for a double KO, he will always lose the stock first, and depending on the character, your opponent can even make it back anyway. You don't even have full control of where you land. Control goes to whoever has the lower percent, and while Bowser does have an advantage over the influence, the last thing you want to do is be drug off stage and die, so be careful. Still, it's fast enough to be pretty much unreactable, making it a decent anti-cross-up tool, a good mix-up at the ledge, and a good way to beat all those players holding shield on platforms. It's one of the best command grabs in the game, and the move I see Bowser players take wins with the most. So now we know the ins and outs of Bowser's attacks, high risk, high reward. Let's see how that translates to his overall viability. Okay, here we are with speed, and Bowser's getting a 3 out of 5. I contemplated giving him a 4 because in movement speed he's one of the faster overall characters, especially for being so heavy. But you can be the fastest character in the game and it won't matter if your moves can't keep up. And Bowser's frame data just isn't quite good enough to match his movement. Luckily he makes up for that in power, which is getting a 5 out of 5. He may not have the crap your pants outrageousness of Ganon or Incineroar, but I think I can count all the attacks Bowser has that don't kill on one hand. With super strong grabs, crazy devastating combos, and smash attacks killing well below 70%, Bowser deserves a perfect score. He won't be scoring as high on defense though. Bowser is one of the biggest characters in the game with the worst dodge data and little to no good get off me or landing options. And while up B and side B out of shield and his sheer weight at least bring him to a 2 out of 5, his exploitable recovery and terrible disadvantage keep him from scoring higher. And finally, versatility. This one was hard to grade because on paper Bowser can at least keep up with every matchup and character's tools. Sometimes you don't get to play for 150% and then you down smash them at 60 and win. It really all depends on how patient you are, how good you can read your opponent, and how well you can mix up your landings. For that reason, Bowser's scoring a 3 out of 5 here. He can get the job done, but it isn't always going to be easy. Overall, Bowser's probably the best big body heavy right now. He's got a great mix of speed, bulk, power, and utility, but he is still a big body heavy, and that unfortunately comes with the standard tax of being a giant piece of combo food. It can be frustrating sometimes having to sit and watch your opponent go into training mode for 15 seconds, but if you remember how heavy you are, and don't let it destroy your patience, Bowser can always make the comeback. Take things easy, don't attack unless you know it will hit, and Bowser will get you further in this game than any other Smash game in history. Thanks again for watching, guys. I always love covering the big boys. If you want to go even more in depth into Bowser, I have this Discord linked in the description along with our own. And if you want to show even more support and get your name at the end of these, just pledge to our Patreon. If you want to vote on the next character to be covered, pick from the list of nominees in the pinned comment below. And with that all done, I'll see you guys in the next one.